There's a long list of people I'll never have respect for. Cheaters, drunk drivers, animal abusers, murderers. Yeah, that's right, I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not gonna censor myself. I think you gotta be a real jerk to kill someone. Standing wipers is another one. I don't understand what kind of psychopath would stand up after doing their business to wipe when the toilet seat already spreads your cheeks, giving you the optimal angle of entrance to your butthole. Doesn't make any sense. You're adding extra steps and more of a nuisance. And another thing that I'll never have respect for are pathetic scumbags that abuse the YouTube strike system because their feelings got hurt. And that has been happening quite a bit lately on the platform. It's been an incredible week for little slimy weasels that like to use the YouTube strike system because someone made a video they weren't overly happy about. So I wanted to march on in here and administer some wedgies and shoot spitballs at these fucking dweebs that are doing this disgusting weenie behavior where they're abusing this YouTube system to try and get rid of videos that said not nice things about their content. The first one I want to cover is from this YouTube channel, Ingween. They received a copyright strike from another YouTuber named The Manny Show. I'll go ahead and play a clip from this video that explains it.
That one of my videos had a copyright takedown, which is very new to my channel. The video in question that was taken down is why everyone hates The Manny Show. And the YouTube automated email says, "Hi Nguyen, we received a copyright removal request."
I was unfamiliar with The Manny Show before this situation, and I really missed 30 minutes ago when I was still in ignorant bliss about who this was, because this shit is insufferable. It's a massive YouTube channel that just aims to fill the shorts algorithm with brain rot content to try and farm subs off of it. It sucks. It super sucks. Copyright strikes are a huge deal. It's more than just the video getting taken down. It affects the entire channel. I'm sure all of you are familiar with the strike system on this platform. It's the nuclear option. When someone does that, it's a declaration of war, and that's when things get extremely serious. And it's also an unforgivable sin on the internet. If you ever have that little devil on your shoulder that convinces you to file a copyright strike, just know that blemish is gonna haunt you for the rest of your fucking life on the cyberspace. People don't forget that. So if you're filing a strike on a channel, you better hope that that channel is publicly beheading puppies or something, because otherwise, everyone's going to hate you for it forever. Strikes, in an ideal world, would be reserved for repeat offender channels that are publishing like borderline criminal content. Anything aside from that, and you could just file a normal copyright claim and block. You don't have to choose to strike the channel. You can just take down the video you think is in violation of your copyright or whatever, and have that be that. But when you go the extra step here and put the cherry on top of the shit cake with a strike, then it becomes a huge deal. But in a situation like this, the Manny Show would still very much be in the wrong, even if they took the lesser of two evils and just removed the video without the strike. Because they have no grounds for removing the video whatsoever. They have no legs to stand on. It's a completely fraudulent claim that blatantly abuses YouTube's system. The channel that was struck, Ingween, is a commentary channel that will play a clip from a piece of content, let it play for like 10 or 15 seconds or so, and then talk about it, giving their commentary on whatever they're going over, whatever the subject is. Looking at the removal request, we can see that 13 seconds of the video was enough to lead the Manny Show to strike the entire fucking channel here. That's some fucking filthy fish paste right there. 13-second clip was enough to have the Manny Show bring the hammer down with the iron fist on the channel, because Ingween was saying some less than stellar things about the Manny Show, I guess. But you can't strike someone because your feelings were hurt over what he was saying about your content. That's just not how it works. He hasn't violated any rules at all. You are totally fine to play bits and pieces from other content and then talk about it, transform it with your commentary, your jokes, your input, whatever it is. It's not like Ingween took the entire video from the Manny Show and re-uploaded it without adding anything to it, without changing it whatsoever. There was no rules that were broken here, at least not from what I can tell. I also will just never understand this strategy of doing something like this, because as the Manny Show or part of the Manny Show team, you would have to know that Ingween or any commentary channel ever would see this and immediately talk about it, because this is just a big no-no. This is like an unwritten rule on YouTube that you don't strike another YouTuber just because they hurt your feelings. That will always backfire on you in the biggest possible way, and it puts all of the eyes on you as the bad guy, as the villain. You won't get support for that. No matter what Ingween was saying about you, and I can't go watch the video since it's been taken down, but I imagine he was calling him cringe or something. Now you have made things significantly worse for yourself. The video title that got taken down was Why Everyone Hates the Manny Show, and I don't know what the reason behind it was, but I can tell you what it will be now. The reason why everyone hates the Manny Show is because they're very sensitive and file false strikes on other YouTubers' channels. I can now answer that question for why people hate the Manny Show. And that's because of your actions. Not even because of your content, it's because what you've done when someone criticized you. It's fucking stupid. It's so dumb. Speaking of dumb and stupid, we have the actual fucking mascot for those things, Tech Lead here. He is apparently still filing false DMCA claims. I just made a video talking about him. I called it Complete Loser. I went over his last fraudulent strike that he issued on Internet Anarchist. Mudahar posted this on June 29th, so only a couple days ago. This appears to be a screenshot of Tech Lead filing a DMCA takedown request. This is a classic SpongeBob, how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man moment. This one is particularly enjoyable though, because this means that YouTube automatically declined Tech Lead's attempt to falsely strike another channel. This doesn't happen super often with YouTube, but they do have measures in place to prevent offenders like Tech Lead from abusing these systems once they're made aware of it. So what happens, and I've seen it a couple of times, what happens is you take one of these fucking worms like Tech Lead, they file a takedown removal request. YouTube will then start processing it and realize that this is just a bunch of hooey. So YouTube will actually send you an email making you aware that someone tried to target a particular video for a particular reason. In Mudahar's case, that video from a Tech Lead segment. And they tell you that they are not going to take any action because they believe it's fair use, but they want to put it on your radar in case you want to do something with that information. The reason they state is in case you want to delete it just to be safe, to avoid any kind of like legal ramifications if they decide to go above the YouTube strike system. So they just give you that information so that way you can plan your next steps accordingly, whether it's deleting the video or contacting the party directly. So that's why Mudahar has that copy there of the Tech Lead DMCA. It's because YouTube thought it was such a load of barnacles that they didn't even bother fucking with it. They just threw it into the trash pile right away, but sent a copy to Mudahar to basically use as toilet paper if he wants. That is so poetic for Tech Lead. YouTube won't even take him seriously anymore. I'm surprised they haven't taken legal action against him since he has openly on record admitted to abusing their system, which is a legal problem. That is actually him admitting to some very bad activity that YouTube could absolutely slap him for. And I think they probably will. This is leading me to believe that YouTube is now very much aware of Tech Lead and what he's doing, and I really think YouTube might take actual action against him for this garbage. Now maybe I'm huffing copium like crack here, but it really to me does seem like YouTube might do something. They're declining his DMCAs without even bothering to process them anymore because they must be aware that this is just bogus. Like it's fake, fraudulent. So maybe they'll do something against Tech Lead. I think they absolutely should. And this has nothing to do with his false DMCA takedown strike crusade that he's going on, but I have to talk about this because it was so pathetic. A few nights ago, actually by this point it's probably like 5 or 6 nights ago, maybe even like a week ago, I'm losing track of time, everything's blending together. But I was streaming Elden Ring, I was playing the DLC, and I saw Tech Lead poke his curious little head up in my chat. And he would cheer on whatever boss I was fighting at the time, like, go get him, demon guy, beat his ass, that kind of thing. You called me a complete loser? Well, look at you, you're dying to this Elden Ring boss, loser. And nobody in the chat even noticed he was there. He's such an insignificant fly that even his attempts to try and stir up shit in the chat didn't work. It just flew under the radar because no one gives a fuck about him. But I saw him because I'm always paying attention to the chat. It's the most fun about streaming is interacting with the community. So I saw Tech Lead in there, but I didn't call any attention to him. I just sat there and just looked at what he was saying, and I know he started fuming because I'm actually good at Elden Ring. So he came in during the Mother Finger boss fight, and it only took me like 5 tries or something on that boss. And he came in there at like the third or so try. So he only got to see me take 1, maybe 2 deaths until I beat the boss, and then he just had to sit there and say some other nonsense outside of that because I wasn't struggling on the bosses. And I just found it to be so embarrassing that this grown-ass man would take like 30, 40 minutes, whatever it was, out of his evening, and it was late too, it was like 2 a.m., 1 a.m., something like that, to hopefully watch me struggle on Elden Ring bosses and then not even get the pleasure of seeing that. Now, if he came in later and saw me on the final boss, he would have had quite a spectacle, because that boss is fucking brutal. That took me like almost 3 hours to beat. But he came on the bosses that I was able to just fucking slap around and put the smackdown on. And he just had to sit there and just say nonsense, and no one responded to it. And I just see it and kind of like smile internally about it. I just had to point that out. I found that to be like so embarrassing. I don't know how he went to sleep that night with that level of shame. Going into my chat to try and start shit only to have no response from anybody. Just straight up crickets. So I had to mention that since we were already talking about this loser anyway. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about these 2 cases here because within just a week, we've already seen 2 YouTubers, again, falsely strike or attempt to strike other channels for nonsense reasons. And I think that shit sucks. That's about it. See ya.